Welcome home, brave heroes. I'm Ash, this is HeroQuest, and you know that I have quite a few of these 1/72nd scale miniatures now in a little tub for myself to separate all the different categories, races, classes, and so on. I have all kinds of different ones from UKR Scale on eBay, which is the supplier of Dark Alliance and Light Alliance miniatures, and they've got a ton of other ones, even more fantasy ones that I haven't picked up yet. But I've got all of the crucial races: elves, dwarves, Cimmerians, orcs, goblins, two kinds of undead, and just an assortment of knights that I got off of Temu, which some folks have let me know that these are perhaps recasts, perhaps repros of Caesar miniature knights. And for those of you following my 1/72nd mini-series, I am trying to get the Caesar fantasy miniatures, but that is a challenge. That's a challenge. In particular, I would really like to get the Adventurer set, but that one is out of print. Seems like it's been out of print for quite a while, and it goes for ungodly prices on eBay and at other places, if it's even up, if it's even in stock. But what I did find, and I'm going to show you my Skaven first. I'm going to show you my official actual Games Workshop 28mm heroic Skaven. These are from the Skaven Army box. Straight up, these are not the same exact Skaven from Advanced HeroQuest, although they're very, very close to those Skaven. There's just a slight variation in the actual sculpt and a place for the shield to go. These should actually be the exact same sculpt for the Skaven offered in Talisman 3rd edition. And I'm showing you these because we're going to be doing a comparison very soon. No, we're not going to compare the Skaven to the 1/72 miniatures of the other races that I have. We're going to be comparing the Skaven to the 1/72nd scale miniatures of rat people that I found. This took a little bit of work. I found 1/72nd scale rat folk and could not be happier when the store emailed me back after my order to let me know that it didn't come with the box. Am I still okay with this? They would deduct $2 off the price. This was much better than the email I got from the first store that I tried to order these rats from, which was, this is out of stock from our supplier and we don't have any. Would you like perhaps some orcs instead? To which my response was a very civil, absolutely not. Although in fairness, the orcs were Caesar miniatures, so I would have gotten a different design of orc had I accepted that deal. These are 1/72nd scale RATMEN, and I'm not sure that the store I ordered them from has any left, so this might be entirely futile, but I will put a link in the description below to the store where I did order these. If anything, it will let you know that it is a legitimate storefront, and you could trust them at least on some level. Look at the detail on this sculpt. This is, I'm not remembering the brand actually. It's not Dark Alliance. Okay, a cursory search says that the manufacturer is Mini Knight, and these should be from Caesar Miniatures. But there are a ton of different sculpts with this set. Lots of different poses, and a couple of sprues that contain shields and a pair of arms with a weapon that, while it's probably easy for a lot of folks to distinguish what weapon that is, it's not very well sculpted. Like, this did not make it all the way into the grooves of the mold of the die. The backdrop here, because I know somebody will wonder, is my League of Dungeoneers world map. It's a map with a bunch of tiny hexes on it, and I thought it would make a really good backdrop after I get my rat people placed on here. Here is our rat person, by the way, who did not have his arms. The arms are on a separate sprue. He's the one that's going to be holding the halberd or spear or whatever over his head. I know that looks like an arm cannon, but it's just a bit of sprue that needs to be taken off. Please disregard my ravaged, callousy fingers. But words cannot describe how excited I was when I first saw that there were RATMEN in 1/72nd scale. Of all things, RATMEN. That means I have a solution to proxy Skaven in my 1/72nd miniature gaming. And these guys look so awesome as Skaven proxies. They're still just vague enough to be night runners, gutter runners, assassins. Some of the details on some of the sculpts are kind of lost when you get up close, but from far away, it's actually really easy to tell what they're supposed to be doing, who they're looking at. And again, we have a lot of different roles covered here. Clan rats, mainly, first and foremost, actually predominantly so. if we were going to assign a specific type, it's basically going to be clan rats. You're not going to be replacing your censer bearers necessarily, or your rat ogres, or your gray seers. I mean, you could still kit bash these guys. You could replace a dagger here with a staff there and say that's your gray seer. You know, that sort of thing's not too difficult to do. I really like how these guys are balanced. They actually all stand up. All of the sculpts stand up, no problem at all. Boy, this must be a really entertaining thing to look at. We'll get down there in the action and pan the camera around a little bit, but I do want to show you comparison in the difference in the size of the sculpts. The differences in scale is what we're really looking at here. 154, 156, I think is what 28 millimeter is supposed to be. I can never commit that to memory for some reason. And I think it's because there's so much conflicting information out there, because different manufacturers just follow their own standard. Is it to the eye? Is it to the top of the head? What size is this fantasy race in real life? Would a Cimmerian stand 6 foot tall or 7 foot tall? And is that the basis upon which we are going to standardize our sizes? You could very easily have this rat here on the right and say that it's a 172, but call it a rat ogre and put it alongside the 172 mini on the left. This would be completely, totally valid and legal, because they do look like they could exist in the same universe, but this rat would be much, much bigger compared to this rat, which does happen. There are size variations between people in real life that can be that dramatic. All right, so now let's get into the action here. Yes, awesome. Now my camera can only really focus on like one thing at a time or one little area or something, and it's going to do a little bit of focus searching and blurring, but for the most part, this is kind of what your tabletop might look like if you're down there in the battle, in the zone, engaging with the enemy forces. Just paint these guys up 2 different colors, and this is a pack of I think 108 different rats. Not that they're all different. You probably had about 12 sculpts. I got them all out and sorted them out and counted, and it's a lot of different sculpts, but I mean, there's really no reason to separate the 3 different archer sculpts up by type. I would just put them all on the board and say they're all archers. They're all using different poses, different sculpts. That's fine. I would take the vast majority of these and use them as just clan rats. I would say they've got, you know, clubs, spears, knives, 2 knives, claws, and I mean giant claws, not just what comes native on the hands of the rats. There are 28 millimeters in the background here. Let's put a rat ogre in this scene. Of course, that's not really a rat ogre, it's a clan rat, but in this particular scene, the scale is so different that it might as well be a rat ogre. Now, this company that sent me these, I think as a sort of thank you or sorry or whatever, they sent me an additional bag marked gift. And in this bag, we have a full package of knights. And I guess these are probably Caesar knights as well. And there's a lot of different styles of knights in here. We've got these guys, we've got these guys, and you can see all of their faces. We've got these guys. We have literally different outfits, different helmets, different weapons. It's like different factions, different fighting styles. And it just goes on and on. There's maybe 12 to 15 different sculpts here. I also counted these and took note of how many different sculpts, but it ended up being a case of there's archers, there's sword fighters, and there seem to be different races or perhaps clans of each of these. These guys look like they do belong to 2 different armies. Whether or not these are named armies, like just from all over different sets combined into one, I don't know. Here they are when you compare them to the RATMEN. You can say this is the same scale for sure. You just would say that the RATMEN were this size in relation to the humans. They're hunched over, they're shorter, they're smaller. I think that's valid and fair. The cost of this was probably around 15 bucks after shipping, I think, because this was imported and because the product price was like already, I think 10. I think they knocked $2 off, but I mean, I got something like 150 miniatures here. And to me, somebody who's gonna use these for like dioramas and video projects where I'm trying to replace the HeroQuest miniatures with 172 scale minis and proxy them all with much smaller ones and create a rule set wherein 2 different minis can inhabit the same space on the board, I'm definitely gonna get my money's worth out of them. I mean, I've got all kinds of inspiration now that having miniatures of other sizes just wouldn't give me. That's why I talk about feel so much when I'm unboxing and reviewing games. When I'm playing different games, I don't want to gather all these together. I will mix them up entirely. That will suck. There's a little bit of a color difference between the plastics here that are used, kind of a little hint on what sculpt goes to what or what faction or what have you, but it's not like separating red from blue. It's separating gray from a different gray. So I don't really want to mix them up. But anyway, that's the 1/72 72nd scale miniatures from the store that I linked in the description below. And I hope that you're able to get them. If you can't get them, I hope you find something else on that site that you like. And if you don't, or if you do, now you're aware that these exist. And I'd much rather they exist, although it would suck that we can't get them, like they're not actually accessible. I will continue to work to proxy these 1/72nd scale miniatures from HeroQuest minis so I can work on that project a little bit more. It's a kind of an ambitious project, but at some point you'll be able to see the results, and it's not going to be anything world-shattering. Just something fun that you might enjoy. So thank you to all the Skaven out there who definitely don't exist, who are hiding underground waiting to overthrow us worldwide as soon as they can stop shoving daggers into each other's backs. I've been Ash, secretly 120 rats wearing a skin suit. I'll see you in the next video. Yes, yes.